Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for our next fight. Making his way to the cage and fighting out of the red corner, it's Timothy Browne.
Timothy Browne, 6'1", 174.1 pounds. This is a super welterweight bout where it's a 175-pound weight class. He's 28 years old, fighting out of Evolution Fight Team in Richmond, Virginia. This is his MMA debut, and he currently trains under 4th-degree black belt Carlos David Oliveira. One of the interesting things is that he's got a lot of talents outside of fighting. I mean, I'm looking at him right now. He's a big dude. I'm surprised he's making his way down to 175 pounds. But he actually wrote and performed the walkout song that we're listening to right now.
Nice, multi-talented.
You're right.
Using fighting as an avenue to promote his music.
I like that. I like that. He's been training for about a year and a half, and he cut from 195, so he worked his way down pretty good here. That's not an easy cut.
Yeah, not at all, especially for amateurs. That's a 20-pound cut for amateur fight. That's very, very serious. That's something you see like at the UFC pro level.
Yeah, and at that point, right, you're basically expecting a 20 to 25-pound cut.
Yes.
Right? That's like a standard operating procedure, and then anything more than that is like, wow, that's a lot. You know. Less than that, it's like, well, what are you even doing?
Yeah, and to be honest, it could be one of those things where, like, hey, okay, I know this is where I'm heading in the future. Why don't I start practicing for that now?
Right, yeah. A lot of guys will do that. They'll make that adjustment early on, and they'll start to work their way down somewhat naturally, and then use that cut kind of as fuel to be like, okay, I could do this. I could do another 5 pounds and get to 170 easy.
Definitely. It was one of those things, kind of like when when the UFC implemented the rule without using IVs. Right. One of those things we kind of just started doing it right away, even though we wasn't in the UFC. It's like, hey, this is my end goal. I'm going to start practicing for all that stuff right now.
And what are your typical weight cuts like? Are we talking, 20, 25 pounds? Or?
Yeah, around. So to me, my nutritionist wants me to get to fight week around like 161. So that's about 15 pounds away from my actual weight. And then from that week on, they handle the rest. If I could make it to them at 161, they're happy.
It's science. It's science
Yes.
at that point, not dieting.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a fascinating game when you get up to that level and you start to get the science behind the operation. But Tim Browne had to get some Vaseline. Now he's ready to rock as he makes his way to the cage. And we'll throw to Chris Fuller for the official call-out.
And his opponent, making his way to the cage and fighting out of the blue corner, it's Nikita Stoll.
Nikita Stoll, 5'11", also weighed in at 175 pounds. He's 28 years old, fighting out of Mastering MMA Institute in Bridgewater, Virginia, by way of Sierra Leone. He's 1-0, and he's the 19th ranked amateur middleweight in Virginia. And this is his second fight in less than 30 days, as he scored a unanimous decision victory on May 20th, so pretty recently. He trains under Lee Swecker in a gym that's a hybrid of Lee's Mastering MMA and the former MMA that used to be in Harrisonburg. He's a 2-stripe white belt, been training for a year, so he's just getting into it. But a really interesting story. He's from the Sierra Leone, and he was a child soldier back in the Sierra Leone. So this guy's probably got life experiences and challenges that he's had to overcome that, quite frankly, I don't think anybody in this building could even understand.
Exactly. I was about to say that's a whole different level of struggle right there. That's something that, like you said, no one in this whole arena could even think about how that was. But I know that comes with a different kind of mental fortitude, and that's something that you could definitely bring into martial arts to help you out. If you've been through something like that, this is kind of like a regular day.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, right, it's got to be hard to get stressed for fighting,
For sure.
I'm sure it still finds its way in there, but his composure, I'm sure, is going to be at a completely different level as he makes his final walk into the cage.
Now, where do you stand on letting white belts fight? Because you're a gym owner. How do you think of it?
I actually won't. I won't let them. I kind of want guys to have a blue belt or at least some sort of wrestling experience that I find beyond just like your normal high school. They competed either collegiately or they've been competing in a no-gi sport for some time. I'll throw it down to Chris, but I'll finish that answer after this.
Salisbury Center, this bout is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds in the CageZilla Super Welterweight division. It is brought to you by our friends at Cherokee Decks, specializing in custom decks and porches for over 2 decades. And Pev's Paintball and Airsoft, the Mid-Atlantic's premier paintball and airsoft park. And now, starting out, fighting out of the red corner, standing 6'1" and weighing in at 174 pounds, fighting out of Evolution Fight Team, he is making his CageZilla debut, it's Timothy Browne. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, standing 5'11" and weighing in at 175 pounds, fighting out of Mastering MMA Institute with a record of 1 win and no defeats, it's Nikita Stoll. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this bout is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds in the CageZilla Super Welterweight division. It is brought to you by Cherokee Decks and Pev's Paintball and Airsoft. Your referee is Michael Dolman.
Mike Dolman gets both guys ready to rock. I like to get my fighters, I want them training for at least a year or two. And big start here. We'll have to get to this later.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about this later. Very strong start. Ran across the cage with a jumping side kick, kind of like Verdun.
Right. Verdun against Travis Browne.
Yes.
Ooh, big right hand there, just missed.
Yeah, but now I feel like this is going to be a fast night. You know, one of these guys is going to sleep because both of these guys are swinging with a whole lot of power and kind of leaving their chin up in the sky.
Good pressure there from Nikita. Made a couple good shots.
Yeah, Nikita was able to catch a good right hand, but then Timothy was able to secure a very good body lock and get him straight to the ground. And this is kind of what we were talking about earlier, asking about how do you feel about white belts competing in mixed martial arts?
Yeah, it's just I think you need a little bit more time. You need to be exposed to a few different looks because ultimately, especially as the amateurs, one takedown with a blue belt on top pressure who's got good control, and you're going to be a fish out of water.
Definitely.
You know?
So this is one of these things now where we're kind of forced to now rely on athleticism because we know for sure your coaches hasn't seen that your ground game is good enough to promote you any higher. So now you're looking for your opponent to either make a mistake or you to be athletic enough to just muscle your way up.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, both these guys are very athletic in some interesting positions here, but like this, for example.
Yeah, he looks like he's diving for a leg. It's kind of something, but it's nothing, you know.
But just needs more reps, right?
Exactly.
You got the first of 8 steps,
yes,
but there's still, quite a few more that you have to learn before you could start attacking those positions, especially from bottom, especially in MMA fight.
Exactly. And not for nothing, Nikita is making the right decisions, you know, and it's like you said, you just don't have enough reps to solidify the position. But he's making enough space where I would like to see him try to explode your way up. You know, it might not be the most technical answer, but sometimes you don't need a technical answer. You just need an answer nonetheless.
Exactly. Yeah, and we're seeing some really good hammer fists from Nikita from bottom, and now he's
Timothy looked like he was dropping down for an ankle lock, and That was a jab that kind of sent his head flying. On his way trying to get up, he kind of gave up his back, and I don't think Timothy is looking to put a hook in. And right now, it's kind of just both guys going strength for strength.
Yeah, very explosive, very strong, trapping something and just kind of taking it for a ride.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, right? So when you talk about getting up, a combat get up versus just turning your back and trying to stand up like you normally would.
Exactly. And to be honest, both times that Nikita was able to work his way up, Timothy was belly to back, just suplex and bring him right back to the ground. But it's one of those things where, hey, if he's gonna keep doing that, you gotta keep doing your thing too. You know, see how many of those reps that he has in him, because this is still a 3-round fight. We gotta see if he could do this for 9 minutes.
Yeah, although now he's got his back.
So Nikita has his chin down, and right now it's more of a face crank, so it's just pain. You know, I don't think there's enough squeeze there for you to go to sleep.
Well, we're going to look up here to the TV. We're going to see a replay from that first big takedown, which did take Nikita for a ride, although I like how he survived there off the bottom. Yeah, and right here you're going to see it.
Belly to back. nice strong slam. And as you see, Nikita tried to pop right back up again, and it was the same thing over and over again. But that's a lot of energy. Like at home, like that stuff looks great for the crowd. But after you finish it, especially when you go back into the corner and the adrenaline wears down, you realize it's a whole lot of energy doing those takedowns. And as we see from both of their postures in the corner, Timothy looks a lot more tired than Nikita did, but that's because of all those suplexes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just when there's all that pressure and all those lifts and you're holding people down with muscle, not technique, you're going to be a lot more tired than you otherwise would be.
Definitely. And as long as the slams aren't doing damage, you know, you're not falling on your head or you're not taking crazy impact, it's not really much, you know. This isn't wrestling where you're getting points for mat returns or takedowns.
Right. That's a great point, and I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze in a lot of ways.
Not at all. It's kind of one of those things where you're doing for the judges. You're kind of putting a stamp on a dominating round.
Nikita came right
out. right in front of each other's faces, and as I see, Timothy's just tired. Timothy's almost exhausted from all those slams earlier. He's looking for an arm bar right now, but I just don't think he has the energy in him. Nikita literally just like manhandled him down to the ground. It wasn't really a technical takedown. It was kind of just get down here.
Yeah, and now for a second there, Nikita was looking for that head and arm choke.
Yeah, I don't like Timothy's posture and look right now. You know, it kind of looked like he's ready to go home, just flat on his back. He's not getting on his side.
He's not really bucking his legs at all. He's kind of just accepting the position.
Yeah. And this is one of those things I feel like if Nikita postures up and lets go maybe like 5-6 punches, the referee might actually stop it. Oh, and he lost the position looking for a Kimura. And now, hey, if I'm Timothy, this is the time for you to get your rest, you know. Stay nice and composed. You don't have to work that well. Make the referee stand us up as I'm just going to catch my breath, get my energy back.
And again, it's more time with you in the top position.
Yes.
You know?
And right now, see, I don't know if he wants to drop down for an ankle, but I don't like the posture. Just stay on him. Keep your weight on him. Yeah. And that's the same mistake Nikita made the last round. You know, you're trying to get up, but turning your back on your way up instead of a proper way to get up.
Yeah, and now it's an interesting position here. It looks like Nikita gave his back up all the way to the mat.
Yeah.
For a second there, I thought he was going to be able to get up out of it, but.
So he was fighting hooks, but Timothy's going for that rear naked choke, but he just can't seem to get himself underneath the chin. He's a bit high, but not bad, but he's not really holding anything. You know, he has the hooks in, but his upper body's not doing the right job. And it's one of those things where if you guys are starting to get sweaty and you're tired, it's easy for the other guy to spin and turn into you. And I feel like that's what's going to happen now with Nikita. And just as I said, he's going to spin and turn back into him. And that only comes because you don't have a proper seat belt. You're not controlling. And that's because just how tired Timothy is. And every time Nikita lands a strike from on top, it's very, very damaging.
But again, here we're seeing some space, like situational space that shouldn't really be occurring in this level of MMA. Oh, I guess if it was going to happen, it would be in this level of MMA, but it's avoidable, right?
Yeah.
A little bit more control and discipline to be a little bit heavier on those hips, a little bit lower. I mean, it looks like Nikita might get the finish here.
Nikita has him trapped. You know, he has a gift wrap, and now he's just letting go of some thundering shots, especially those elbows. Those elbows are tough. You just can't find. So, hey, Timothy is kind of defending very well. It doesn't look great, but at least he's avoiding some hard shots. Just little space. Nikita's missing by inches.
Ooh,
like
that was
a great elbow. And the referee's getting close to stopping it.
Man, he really.
Nice.
If there was if the 10-second timer hadn't gone off, I think that might have been it.
Yeah, and Timothy's having a hard time getting up to his feet. The referee might stop this in a corner.
Mike's gonna ask him.
Yeah,
Now,
Mike asked him if he wants to continue, and Timothy said yes.
For what it's worth, Timothy doesn't look bad based on the way he's breathing. He doesn't look like he's looking down.
It's
but
muscle fatigue, you know.
Right.
There's all those suplexes he did in the first round, and now your muscles are burning. You could barely, like, everything in your body's burning. Your shoulder, your forearms. It's one of those things, and then the adrenaline dump is gone. You're not running on the caffeine that you felt earlier, that you took earlier during the day. Like reality's trying to set in. The cage is getting smaller and smaller. The 1 minute break feels like 20 seconds. You know.
that was such a good point, right? Yeah, the energy drink is now worn off. You know.
And with Nikita, like we were talking about, see, Timothy could barely stand up straight. This is one of those things where the referee might stop this before it even starts. And Nikita's getting right in his face right away because he's not showing good body posture. This is gonna be a quick finish.
Well, nothing gives you energy like seeing your opponent.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Watching your opponent buckle and turn around. Yeah, and that was a great finish from Nikita.
Really good awareness that his opponent was just not up for this fight at this point in that third round.
And like you said before, no matter how tired you feel, if you see your opponent show that kind of body posture, you're going to gain energy from just watching them feel defeated, you know?
Yeah, and we saw it right there happen live in real time, you know? Nikita was obviously tired.
Yes.
Tough. The end of the second round was tough, but he pushed through, and then seeing his opponent be so gassed and just not really want to be there.
Yeah, and Timothy is still tired. He could barely stand up straight. And all we're seeing right here is just straight exhaustion. You know, there's not a specific strike that was too overwhelming. It's just that Timothy was so exhausted, he kind of just collapsed from just being out of breath and needed some space to rest.
And that was the end of the fifth bout of the evening right now, ladies and gentlemen. We are cooking.
And Nikita's feeling
Oh,
it.
yeah, he is. Yeah, you see that? I mean, just absolutely cooking.
He is feeling it.
A great win there for Nikita Stoll. And honestly, I think that was a very good showing from him for his second fight, dealing with some of the composure of dealing with a guy who was incredibly explosive. That very unorthodox start, having somebody do a jumping side kick after you.
Yes.
You know, there was a lot of things that he had to deal with there that I thought he did a very good job of.
Yeah, and like you said, the jumping side kick, the suplex, a lot of things was going too well for Timothy for it to end the way it did.
And we'll throw it down to Chris Fuller for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Michael Dolman has called a stop to the action 14 seconds into the third round for your winner by TKO. Out of the blue corner, it's Nikita Stoll.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the fifth bout of our evening, Nikita Stoll. And it looks like we're going to throw it down to Skylar Lanier for another in-cage interview.
Are you good? Yeah. Okay. Air turn around. Wow. That is one hell of a fight. You know, at first both of y'all had the same energy, and then I think you could see that he was getting fatigued, and you for sure took advantage of that.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Timothy, man. What we do out here, like the cardio is ridiculous. And I just want to thank you for pushing me, man. And I want to give God all the glory for this, because without him, there's nothing that we can't do. So therefore, give him glory every chance you get.
When you took that 1 minute break, what were your coaches telling you?
Hey, they told me push it. He looks tired. You're a monster. I know you got a lot in you, so push it. And he told me, third round, this is the last round. We know we got more in you. Go ahead and take it.
Well, he was damn right.
Damn straight.
Is there anyone you want to thank before you head out?
Hey, I just want to thank my mother and my wife for coming and see me, my teammate, and my coaches. Thank you all, and you all enjoy your evening.
Back to you guys.